What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker podcast. I'm Nick Baker, and across from me, Shane Good.
Yo, what's up?
And we are here to talk to you about some video games. But of course, first things first, I got to tell you to go check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Play stores for the audio version of the podcast, as well as our YouTube channel for our video version. Make sure you keep up with it, with everything that's going on. Oh my God. On our Instagram and Facebook pages, so you never miss your show. I really need to rewrite that. That's terrible.
It's you got to fire it off quick, and if you miss a single syllable, you do real fast. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But anyway, what have you been playing this week, man?
So this week I haven't had I say I haven't had an insane amount of time, but somehow whenever I say I haven't had an insane amount of time, I end up paying like 12 hours worth of League of Legends in a week. And that's exactly what I did this week.
Well, I mean, I think we've made the joke before that it's just straight up like your part-time job that you do.
I don't know, man. I'm hovering level 200 now. I think at the start of this season I was like level 140 or something like that. And that's that's a lot. I know that you don't know how many that is, but that's a lot.
I'm just standing here like, numbers.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, yesterday I played a lot, dude. I played probably my best game that I've played this season yesterday. I won't say I single-handedly did it, but I definitely carried pretty well. I went 19, 1, and 13, so I had 19 kills, 1 death, and 13 assists. I had a KDA of 32. I didn't miss a single objective, and I was part of 73% of the kills in the game. Which
so your back's a little sore today.
Well, considering I won every single game I played yesterday, a little bit.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy though. I've been winning a lot more, and been focusing a lot more on making smarter plays and adapting my jungle style. Some changes did happen to League of Legends this past week. The patch that they put out actually nerfed my role very hard. Mm-hmm. They nerfed all the XP that you would normally have gotten. They cut it down to like 30% of the XP that you would have gotten. And that sounds like it would make it harder to do, like, to play my role. But because of the champions that I like to play, they don't farm well, and they're very gank heavy, so it actually made my role significantly easier for me, in a weird kind of way. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so that's been interesting. But what have you been up to, man?
So this week I've been pretty much doing my same old, playing a few sports games here and there. But I have also been delving into Call of Duty Cold War's multiplayer, which I never really had done before. I was mostly just like a Warzone player. I stick to that and play the zombies on Cold War and have a lot of fun with that. We'll get to the zombies portion a little bit later because some of the stuff that they've added to that with the new update for Season 2 is actually really, really interesting and awesome. But as far as the multiplayer goes, I had a lot of fun with it. We play a lot of the old school maps. I think there's Train Yard or something like that, Railway, something to that effect, and Raid are two of the old maps that they added with this new multiplayer for Cold War, and I had a ton of fun playing just back-to-back those maps, and a little bit of Nuketown sprinkled in.
Ooh, Nuketown, delicious.
Yeah. Oof, man, it is rough. Kids definitely know how to play that map right now.
I mean, dude, with the right gun, you can damn near shoot through the buildings. So
it's insanity when you get to that map. But as far as the zombies mode goes, they added this new open world zombies mode.
Oh,
the name is escaping me at this point, but you and 3 of your friends can jump into a Warzone like experience on Cold War with zombies included, and it's a co-op experience in which you're trying to do all the some similar things that you would do in a normal zombies mode, but there's vehicles and all these different objectives that you have to complete in order to transfer yourself between 3 different maps, and the game mode encompasses all 3 of those maps and tells a story throughout, and it's really ambitious, I'd say, for a Call of Duty mode. And I think that if they go this direction with zombies in general. I think this is like the next step for what zombies can be, and if they add a little bit of the Easter eggy goodness that is in the regular zombies into this mode,
Hmm.
it's gonna blow my mind. I'd buy Call of Duty every year if it was just like this, you know?
I mean, it really does seem like. Well, I won't say it really seems like, but at least this particular franchise of the Black Ops has been pretty strong in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
I've never had a Black Ops game. Well, I haven't had one since Black Ops 2, but like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and I've seen was it there was one more before this one, right? Or something like that?
I think it was three. Uh,
I can't remember,
can't
but
remember if there's a fourth one, but yeah, it's definitely up there in the numbers of these ones. So they've had a lot of time to really uh, get the rubber to meet the road with this franchise, and
yeah, exactly.
it really goes to show what they've been able to do. Especially shout out to Treyarch for like just really sticking with their style of zombies and really delivering each time. I'm really impressed. So that's what I've been doing this week. But it's time to get on to the breakdown. And
The
this week on the
breakdown.
breakdown, yeah, we got to get some sound effects. I'll say that every time. But
Is that?
this week on the breakdown, we got a bunch to talk about. I didn't write a number here because we are going to be talking about the state of play that happened yesterday. But as far as other developments, PSVR 2 is in development. This coming from Sony's Twitter account. They announced it via their Twitter account that they're developing this new PSVR 2 for the next gen console. So that's really interesting. They didn't give us much more than that. A lot of people were doubting that they were even going to do a PSVR 2 just based on the fact that the PSVR was so hard to sell at first.
Hmm.
It really took some time for it to gain the amount of install base that then Sony is like, oh yeah, we can put some actual money behind this and make some games for it that aren't just point and click rail shooters.
I mean, in all fairness, I am a little surprised as well, only because it seems like they could have made more money if instead of them putting the money into the technology, like making a contract with Vive or making a contract with like a different company that already is developing their technology and that's the purpose of their company, than to just partner with it and be like, hey, it
Mhm.
works with this, but it also works with computer, so it's adaptable everywhere. It's like I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that here.
Yeah, that's I think that's a little too one world for Sony. We've seen in the past that they're just
Mm.
not really they don't really play nice with others a whole lot of the time. So I think keeping this in house is like somehow they think it's beneficial to them. I don't know if it will be in the long run or if PSVR 2 will sell. The details we did get, and have very little details at that, is that it will be a single corded headset. So there's only going to be one cord in and out of your console or in some sort of exterior box potentially. But yeah, that's really a breath of fresh air, especially for everybody that actually owns a PSVR and has played on that. You know that it's just like a spider web of cords coming out of that thing, and it's a mess to like put away or hook up. So just a single cord. But I was pretty shocked that it wasn't wireless. I think that wireless headsets, and maybe it's just a price thing. They don't want to throw like a Bluetooth whatever in there to connect to your console directly. So it must be um, worth it for them to make the cheaper version with a cord. But I would love to see a PSVR get a wireless iteration sometime down the line if it actually does well at first.
Hmm. I mean, I'm not too sure, but it can't be ridiculously hard to actually do it yourself. Like, not
Mm,
like you probably could just plug it into a Bluetooth hub and then run that hub off of like your actual Bluetooth setup and whatever you have. I'm sure there's ways to do it.
yeah. The only problem there, I think, would be are you adding latency, and is there like something there that would kind of block some sort of better signal that the cord is going to be able to provide to you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. That anytime
Like
you go wireless, you're adding latency. It might not be
right.
a lot, but you're adding latency.
It's the same thing with like a nice pair of headphones or a headset that if you have a corded headset, you're going to have just straight up better and louder audio, unless you really pay for a wireless headset.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's all the developments that they really have on the PSVR too. Exciting to see more from it. I'm sure we'll get a PSVR 2 state of play eventually. So we'll have to see more there. Maybe we'll actually get some really good first party titles on this to really push it forward, because I don't think that they would push this out and not commit fully.
Mm.
So
I would hope, anyways.
so I hear there's some news on the other side of the tracks, on that PC side of the tracks. Diablo 2 Resurrected. What's this all about?
Yes. So Diablo 2 Resurrected, we are let me see. I had a page up for it just so I could actually give you the date. However, I was reading through it and there really isn't a date because there isn't a date.
Because Blizzard hates everyone.
Yeah, Blizzard's basically hey, you remember how we were really cool 10 years ago? Yeah, keep it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So Diablo Resurrected is essentially, it's not a reskin because they are changing aspects of the game. Like they're remaking the game to be there's a lot of quality of life changes, like automatically picking up gold and automatically picking up different things, like in Diablo 3 they have a pet that will automatically pick up gold for you, or you have to walk over it. In Diablo 2 you literally had to click on the gold to pick it up, which was very annoying.
Yeah, it does sound tedious. So are they just kind of bringing it forward to like a Diablo 3 sensibility, or do you think they're just like changing the Diablo 2 formula fundamentally in a different way than
So
that?
they're kind of just pulling it forward graphically. They're going from so it's always been top over, but they're going to a 3D top over, so the same type of graphics that are in Diablo 3. And they're also, a really big change that a lot of people are super excited for is that they're gonna make 8-person parties. So
Oh wow, yeah, that's completely different.
yeah, they're gonna make it so you have 8-person parties, which will make a lot more, it'll make it so you can play with a lot more people. And there isn't a ton of talk about it, but a lot of people are suspecting, especially people that have played Diablo for a long time, myself included, a lot of my friend group. There's no real reason to make 8-player parties, unless you have something that's going to take 8 people to kill.
Right. So they're going to be
So
adding some difficult dungeons and bosses, I'm sure.
yeah, I think that they're going to end up trying to scale up again. You know, Diablo 3 has all the way up to Torment 16 now. So they've added, originally when I first started they had Torment 6. That was as high as you could go. And then they added all the way up to Torment 13, and now they've added all the way up to Torment 16 in this past year. So I think that they're going to try and add more difficulties into the game and probably make the game itself just more complex, I'm sure they'll change the bosses and remaster kind of the way that the skills work and the abilities work. And there was a lot of animation canceling that you could do in Diablo 2 to make your DPS more efficient. And they said that they
Hmm.
don't want to change things like that, but they want to make them smoother. So
Right.
they thought that as core gameplay, and they don't want to change the core gameplay, just quality of life and make the game more fun for parties.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm pretty excited. Everybody in my friend group basically is so we're all buying this day one of the launch, and we're gonna do
Right.
42 hours just straight of Diablo 2.
So they don't have a date for this yet.
No, not that I know of. I read through
Does it
the
does it
article and it
feel like it's gonna come late, or what are you getting from what you've seen so far? Do you think it's close or no?
with the amount of skills and footage that they have, honestly the game looks pretty much done.
Hmm.
Um, but obviously, No Man's Sky looked like it was basically a perfect game before they released it, and it wasn't, and it had a long way to go. You know,
Yeah.
I can I mean, Cyberpunk looked incredible, but it had a lot of
Oh,
bugs, and
I could feel that one coming, and
yeah.
my heart just rends every time. Oh,
You know, looks can be a little deceiving, but the game does look like it's in a fairly good spot, and Blizzard doesn't really have a big track record of releasing things before they're ready. Matter of fact, they have a big track record of releasing things like 10 months after they were ready. Like, so that's kind of their thing that they do. They just
right.
like wait forever to release it, and they
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
release it at the worst times possible as well. Like on the launch date of another game's season start or like random shit like that.
Right.
But that's the Diablo 2 scoop.
All right. Well, sweet. Now we're on to the state of play. This week's state of play is one that I was pretty excited for. It came up out of nowhere. They had just announced it, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday, and they initially said that they were going to cover, I think, up to 10 games, go into deep dives with a few of them, and that's exactly what we got. Our expectations were met. I felt like this really came together well. There were a few new surprises along the way that really kept things fresh, so that you weren't just kind of looking at the same old games that they've been showing and showing, which there are some just updates on some of the games that they have announced before, but they do it in such a way that you're like, oh, well, all right, here's a date, here's a date. So
Hmm.
let's get right into it. We'll start with Crash Bandicoot. The very first thing they announced, I think it's been the first thing for the last few state of plays. I think Crash Bandicoot is just has got a deal with Sony, or Activision's got a deal with Sony. That just first thing out of the way, get Crash Bandicoot in there. It's
That's
just
fair,
coming to PS5. The new what is it? It's About Time is coming to PS5 with all the new bells and whistles, 60 FPS, haptic trigger
dude.
stuff. So
It's about time.
all the good vibrations that Crash Bandicoot can bring, he will bring. So the second thing that they announced was the Returnal is now coming on April 30th. They showed off a bunch of new gameplay for this game and showed off like a different perspective. So they zoom into first person during a certain portion of this trailer,
Hmm.
and it does give the game a little bit more of like a I don't know, survival horror feel when you're in that perspective. So it's really interesting. I've not been more interested in this game than I am now, specifically because it is from a developer like Housemarque, and they have such a good track record with all the games that they've made before, and the people that are a part of them, the games that they've made as well. So I'm really excited to see more from this later this spring.
I mean,
What do you think from? Did you get to see any part of this?
so I didn't see any of the Returnal stuff. I did see, obviously, I saw like the knockout and stuff like that. I actually didn't see. I watched a like snippets of it, and
Mhm.
Returnal wasn't on there, which was kind of surprising.
Right. I think that the general consensus of Returnal right now is just like, all right, well, we'll see this game when it comes out, and we'll see how this game is when it comes out. So, um, it does seem interesting. It's like a sort of like a roguelike style game where you're the objective again is like some death based exploration where you're going to places that you really have no idea where you're getting yourself into, and you're just going to be overwhelmed, and then you'll come back with that knowledge. So,
Hmm.
very Dark Souls like in that way. So we'll have to see more from that. But next on the list, they had Knockout City. We talked about this one last week on the Nintendo Direct, but it's coming to PlayStation as well. And the signups for the Crossplay beta have started now, and the beta will start on April 2nd, and
Yep,
it'll go through the 6th, I believe.
the
So,
fourth.
oh, the 4th.
The
All right.
fourth.
So
It's a 2 day beta.
that's a really short beta. They must be
Yeah.
straight up just trying to get like an idea of the cross playability, or something to that effect. Just
Yeah.
something really simple, because they just have everything else pretty much battened down for that game. It looks pretty polished as it is, so we'll have to see more from that. What did you
Definitely.
think of this?
So it looks pretty fun. Not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't know if it would be anything I would like. You know, jump right into, but it does. It looks entertaining at the very least. It looks pretty fun. It's not gonna take like a ton of requirements for you to run on a PC either. Like
No,
it,
absolutely not. Yeah,
yeah, it's
you'll blow your FPS out of the windows with this thing.
yeah. I think you're definitely right though. They're trying to like it. The beta name is actually called the Crossplay beta. So I'm pretty sure they're just trying to check server stability and make sure that all the servers are compatible, working with each other, and making sure that like you can cross from one cluster to the next. Because I mean, a lot like especially I don't know if anybody remembers it, but like back when what the hell is that car soccer game, Rocket League.
Yeah,
Um,
Rocket League.
yeah, when Rocket League first did it, they had a fair bit of trouble trying to get the crossplay to work between Xbox and PS4. Um,
Yeah.
no, it was PS3, I think. Either way, no, it was PS4. Um,
Right. I think that the initially PS4 was out on that, and it was the Switch and the Xbox that could crossplay, and
yeah,
PS4 was just like completely against it. They were just like, nah, we're good for now. And then eventually they came out with the crossplay beta for PS4, which included Rocket League and Fortnite, I think.
yeah, that sounds completely right. Because we started playing Fortnite, and I was
Mm,
playing with you
yeah,
guys on PC.
yeah, and that was the heyday of Fortnite. I look back on those days fondly, and then I look at Fortnite now, and I'm like, there's just no way.
Yep, 100%.
There's just no fucking way. That train has left the station.
That train, unfortunately, it was only there long enough for a small group of people to get on, and Ninja was fucking driving that train off the rails as
Yeah.
fast as he could.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's still driving that train. That guy
Um,
looks like a wreck, by the way. I'm sorry if this ever reaches him, but damn, bro.
yeah, he
Like cut your hair or re-dye it or something.
yeah, I won't go there, but you ain't wrong.
But anyway, so Knockout City, that's definitely a thing. You'll be able to sign up for that beta starting apparently now, and we'll have to wait until April to see what that game is actually capable of. But moving on to this one actually really actively excited me. I dug the trailer for this one. It got me super excited. The Kung Fu action brawler game Sifu is coming later this year. It's just a slate of 2021, so we don't know exactly when, but I imagine that this game is probably pretty close to done. The trailer looked pretty polished, so maybe we'll see this one midsummer, early fall. But yeah, what did you think? I had you specifically check this one out because I thought this one was right up your alley. So what did you think of Sifu?
So it looks pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. I love the art style. The trailer is like mildly confusing, other than the fact that every time you die, you age. So like, I'm not really sure what that leads to, what that will look like. Now,
Right.
like, is there abilities where as you age, you get better, like you get better as a person at the game, or does it actually affect your character and make your character weaker, but allow you to kind of like use your human knowledge in the game? Like, I don't know. There's so many questions that I have about it. That I think it's gonna be obviously like we'll have to wait till it comes out to get the answers, but it actually looks really fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm super super pumped for this one. This one reminded me so much of obviously a bunch of different like kung fu movies, but specifically there's a scene in the Netflix Daredevil series that Daredevil just goes ape shit on some guys in a hallway, and this first scene from this trailer was just like, yeah, man, they just need to make a Daredevil game. I would totally just play like a super badass like kung fu action Daredevil game, and man, oh,
I mean,
come on, Insomniac, get on that. Fuck around with Spider-Man some other time.
it does sound. I mean, I didn't watch Daredevil, but I love the idea, and it would be fun. It would be really interesting. All right. I'm gonna
Dude,
coin this. I'm gonna coin
all
this.
right.
It
He's
be
got he's got a coined phrase right
oh,
now.
dude. When this game becomes insanely popular, I just want 1% of your royalties. That's it. Because that's gonna be enough money to make me live for a long time, nice and happy. Uh, so it's a Daredevil game, except you as the main character. Obviously, you're blind. So
Hmm.
like you play out the game not being able to see. And the only times that you're able to like actually see, because obviously it has like the sensibility or whatever it is,
Right.
but the only time you're actually able to see the world is when you switch between other characters through their eyes.
Hmm.
So like whoever you're fighting with, or like if you go to different parts of the game where like you're playing a different character, like you actually get to see the world that you've been interacting with. But once you go back to Daredevil, you don't get to see that world anymore. You only see like what was in his parameters.
Right. Hmm.
Crazy
That does
idea.
sound, yeah. It sounds pretty interesting. Sounds ambitious. Like you would have to really switch pretty fast. But I guess that Final Fantasy VII Remake kind of had that same idea where you were switching characters really, really quickly on the fly to just control somebody to pull off some sort of move or whatever. So I imagine that your idea could live
Uh,
in a Daredevil game
I
eventually.
I will say too, throwback to like 2015, 2016, there was a game called Eden Eternal that you could do exactly like that type of Final Fantasy switching. You would play the same idea that you would level those characters up. You always had the ability and you always had the equipment on, as long as when you switched to the character, the equipment was on the character, and you could like switch in combat. So it's like top down. It wasn't great graphics, but they totally let you like switch around in combat. You could like 1 second you could be a samurai, and then you could switch and you could be a pirate with like the same equipment.
Huh.
It was very entertaining. Eden Eternal is, I think, far far gone from now though. It was a game when I was like, I don't know, 16 or 18,
Hmm.
but interesting, very
Well,
very
yeah,
interesting.
definitely interesting. But yeah, we'll have to again see more from Sifu later this year. Super stoked for it. Can't wait for it. But on to the next thing that they announced. Not necessarily an announcement, but an update on Solar Ash from the maker of Hyperlight Drifter. It's coming later this year. It's a third person action platformer where you're kind of skating around this really colorful, vibrant world, and its combat and movement are very almost rhythm based, where you're just kind of in the flow of the game as you're going through, and everything's like this and this. Everything is so tied together so rhythmically that it does remind me of just a straight up rhythm game. Um, the art style is amazing. These games do so well with such little fidelity. I'd say
Hmm.
like the art style is so basic, but it's beautiful at the same time with the like color choice that they use and the FPS that they can get now. It just makes everything look so smooth and crisp. So that anything looks good now on these next gen and PC. Hard drives or solid states, I guess.
M.2s, M.2s. Come on now.
M dot fucking sevens or whatever.
Precisely.
Yeah, right. we need to get on building me a PC, by the way,
It's true. We
as
do.
a little mini segue. But that aside, Solar Ash looks pretty cool. We'll have to see more from that again later this year. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach got another trailer, and it looks just as creepy as it did before. Didn't really show too much gameplay, but this one's going to be a first person. Jeez,
Yeah, that guy was
motorcycle
hauling.
is super loud. It's like 35 or 40 degrees outside right now.
Yeah, literally.
But everybody else in the country's like, wait a minute, what? They're riding motorcycles in 30-degree weather? What the fuck's wrong with them?
Yeah, no, something's wrong with that guy. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, he's got some screws loose for sure, but it doesn't matter. His bike's got some screws loose. He'll probably be dead anyway.
It's true.
Yeah. So Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, first person horror game with all kinds of crazy animatronic dolls that are chasing you, trying to kill you, and you're trying to escape this horrible scenario. Yeah.
Uh, is this a trailer or is this a security leak?
So Oddworld Soulstorm got a trailer, and it gave us an actual deep dive into that game and its story and what we're actually going to be doing as far as where they're taking the Oddworld series as a whole. So it's much more cinematic than I thought it was going to be. There are some cutscenes that are actually gorgeous. I can't wait to really see more from this one because I did play Oddworld back on the PS1 and PS2 days, but I haven't seen anything from Oddworld since. So it's going to be weird to get back into that really tricky side-scrolling survival experience. But
Yeah, it's gonna be an odd world. I'm not gonna lie.
oh
But
man,
it's
he's rolling right now.
I mean, come on, come on. This one's
Yeah.
literally set up for it. But this one's actually gonna come like
Next,
early spring.
he's gonna be like, it is an odd world after all.
No, no, that's just too much.
All right, fine. Well, hey, if you can do it, I can do it too.
All right, all right. Do it with this next one.
Oh, all right. So, jeez.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that one's
Um,
gonna be difficult.
can I get a round of applause for Bridge of Spirits?
But all right.
So, yeah, we need to stop. We're gonna lose subscribers. Kena Bridge of Spirits got a new trailer. This game looks amazing, and this isn't one of the ones that I told you to look at, but it I just can't. I can't with this game. It looks so good. It looks like a Pixar movie that you're just playing, and it's coming later this year. We've seen it a few times. It's very Zelda,
Mm.
um, Breath of the Wild but it's got such a great art style, and all the little black creatures that you're collecting as a part of your unit or whatever are so adorable. It just it grips your heart, and I think that it's going to be one of the best games this year, and it's going to sneak up on a lot of people. But yeah, it looks really technically sound. The combat looks really fun, which is really unique for a indie developer as Ember
Mhm.
Lab is. It's really interesting to see how far they were able to go with this as an indie developer, and I really just can't wait to see more of this game in action because it's gorgeous from what we've seen.
You know what? What's
You
up?
remember this game, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was. It reminds me a lot of like the art style. Obviously, it's like a very Breath of the Wild isk
Yeah.
kind of game,
Oh
but
yeah.
that spin of the art style reminds me a lot of oh shit, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the Colossus. No, what the fuck is it? Something of the Colossus. No, it's not something of the.
Shadow
Is it
of Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus? It's that game where you have like this big like wolf animal type thing, and you ride it around, and it's a puzzle game. You have to kind of like complete puzzles in the game and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That
Maybe Okami.
world, huh?
Okami.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, but
Okami, you play as a wolf, and it's sort of like a painted art style.
I'm not sure, but it reminds me of. No, this definitely isn't it. It's a like
Oh
of.
no.
Well, this is like the game I'm thinking of was graphically one of the best games of like the PS4. Um,
Okay, hold on.
I
So
can't.
yeah, no, it's definitely Shadow of the Colossus that you're thinking of then, because yeah, it Shadow was really um,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. I just looked it up. It's definitely like that. That world kind of reminds me of the way that the landscape looks, but
Yeah,
with the styling of the Breath of the Wild.
right, and it has that really like almost cartoony or anime-y like
Hmm.
sensibilities to it, where like the little animals are like almost chibi in a way, where their eyes are huge and adorable, and it's like, oh man, I could just really soak up this world, and it's so colorful when you at the very end of the trailer, Kina like stabs her staff into the ground, and the uh, grass grows away from her staff, and it grows up and around and everything is brought to life, and it looks so gorgeous, and I can't wait. It's coming later this summer, August 21st. So get ready for that one. I'm sure we'll see more in a state of play coming up. Probably beginning of the summer. Usually around June, we get another little tidbit on that. But next up on the list was Deathloop, We got a sweet Deathloop trailer that didn't announce a release date, but it did say I don't even think it said it was coming this year.
I
We
did
don't know
not.
when this game is currently coming, unless there's a release date that they didn't add in there, which I'll look up right now.
I didn't
But
see a
yeah,
release date when I
what
looked it
did
up.
you what did you think of what did you think of this one? Because I know that this one hits you right where it hurts as far as the style goes.
Yeah, so like I love the style of this game, and then so there's a couple things. I love the style. It reminds me a lot of Fallout 4, with like the gameplay that they've kind of provided, and I don't know how much of that is like truly like the gameplay, but it seems very streamlined, very fast paced, very like I mean, towards the end of that trailer, you're literally like in one building, you drop a grenade, you fly through to the next building or teleport or something like that, and then you're shooting two other people, and then you teleport out the window, and you're on the ground, and you're already fighting with somebody else before you even like have a chance to really do too much. So like, I'm curious to see if the game is really that fast.
Mm,
And obviously, we talked about it earlier. There's no mention of this multiplayer either. And if the game's
right,
really
right.
that fast with multiplayer, oh boy, it's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
and this new trailer did show off like a bunch of new powers and stuff that they didn't really kind of cover before. Whereas your
Hmm.
main character has this almost metal gauntlet that he wears that can kind of defragment, and he uses it in different ways, like a pull power and a push power. It looks really Bioshocky. The release date here, it says, I googled it. It says May 21st. So
Oh
it is coming
wow,
relatively soon. I'm kind of weirded out as they didn't show that on the trailer at all. I feel like that would be like a perfect opportunity just to plaster it again.
three
But
months from now, yeah, for sure.
mm,
Actually, less than 3 months. Really, it's really two,
right,
but or two and some change.
man, oh man, I
So
can't wait
much
for
this
that one.
spring, bro. Oh my
Yeah.
word. Sorry, I had an outbreak there about all the games coming, but
Oh my god.
there's so many.
But anyway, so the end of the state of play, their one more thing was Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade was announced alongside the PS5 update that'll add all kinds of bells and whistles. Obviously, the haptics, the 60 FPS, the 4K, all of that stuff is going to be added for the PS5 update. And Intergrade also includes a new chapter with one of the characters that comes potentially later in the Final Fantasy remake series, but we'll get like a little bit of a taste of her in this one, Yuffie. So we'll have to see how that carries out. The trailer for it looks like it's a pretty sizable chunk. You get a full combat experience with Yuffie, so you'll get to unlock her abilities and weapons and level up her materia. So I wonder how that will play into the full game itself. But it definitely got me more excited. They're apparently going to be giving away Final Fantasy VII Remake next month as one of the PlayStation Plus games for the month of March. So look forward to that, and look forward to getting that PS5 update later in June, I believe they said. So
Hmm.
pretty psyched. This state of play was sweet. I thought that they and now reflecting on the stuff that we've just talked about, I thought it kind of knocked it out of the park for what like a release one we weren't really expecting. A surprise state of play just came out of nowhere and slapped down some stuff that we can be excited for later this year. And it's not like stuff to necessarily write home about too much, but there are some things on here that I think are going to, like I said, sneak up on some people and surprise um, a lot of us. So can't
Yeah,
wait to see more from all of this stuff. You got any final thoughts?
I think well, I've got two. I think
Mm,
that you're 100% right. I think that especially with these roguelikes, when a roguelike isn't good, nobody talks about it. It just disappears. It kind of floats in. But when a roguelike is good, it is usually a top game of the year. Like there isn't like it either is the top game of the year or it's not. And I think that a couple of these have the potential, if they are what they are saying, is gonna be possibly a top game of the year roguelike contender. So I think
right.
that's there's definitely some potential. And then I was gonna make some sort of Final Fantasy pun, but the only thing I can think of is, well, we're finally done. So
Yeah, we're Final Fantasy done. Remake
uh,
2,
mm-hmm.
part 3. All right. Anyway, so check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play stores for the audio version of the podcast. Check us out on our YouTube channel for the video version. Make sure you keep up with everything that we have going on over on our Instagram and Facebook pages so you never miss a show. We'll talk to you next week. We love you, and peace.
Peace.